So, I just saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and this is going to be my spoiler discussion video. If you want to see my review where I talk about the things that I like about the movie, the things that I don't really like, without spoilers, go check out my video yesterday. I also give my rating in that video. I'm not going to do that here, but yeah, you could see by the title of that video that I was not the biggest fan of this film. But there were a lot of stuff that I like, and I want to get into the spoilery stuff here. So Deadpool and Wolverine is mainly about Deadpool, who was brought into the TVA and told that he needs to join the MCU. He has a place in that universe. But to do so, he would also have to let his old universe die, and he doesn't really want to do that. He does not want to let go of the Foxverse, so he goes on this big journey into the Void where he has to go find Wolverine. And that's pretty much the entire plot of the movie. In the Void, him and Wolverine end up finding Cassandra Cain, who is the sister, I guess, the twin of Charles Xavier. We don't know which Charles Xavier, but who gives a shit? And she's just this big bad villain who's bad because she's bad. And this whole movie just has the overarching theme of being forgotten. The Fox universe was forgotten. A lot of the characters that show up were forgotten. So first things first, let's talk about the cameos, because that's what everybody wants to hear me talk about. The first big one in the movie was Henry Cavill playing a version of Wolverine. I love that. That was hilarious. Did not see that coming, and I would love to see that full time. Maybe that's what's going to happen with Henry Cavill in the MCU. We know something's coming with him. That was great. I love the joke Deadpool makes saying that we'll take better care of you. We'll take better care of you than they did. We also get the best cameo maybe in the history of the MCU. Chris Evans shows up. I never thought I would see Chris Evans in a Marvel movie ever again. I thought he was done. And he is here. He actually showed up for this movie. And you're thinking, wow, he's playing Cap? Captain America's back? Nope! Flame on, baby! He's playing Johnny from Fantastic Four. It was brilliant. I saw it coming from like a mile away as soon as you see his character. But seeing Chris Evans back in a Marvel movie, I also enjoy that cameo. And that's pretty much it for like the big cameos, I guess. There is no Charles Xavier. There is no Ian McKellen playing Magneto or even Michael Fassbender playing Magneto. There is none of that. I suspect that they're waiting for Avengers Secret Wars to really bring all those people in. But I was a little disappointed, especially because Patrick Stewart kind of insinuated so many different times that he had filmed scenes for this film, but he's not here. That kind of sucks, but it's alright. I don't need to see all those characters yet, but still, it is annoying that they kind of built up this idea that maybe those people would come in, and they didn't. There's no Taylor Swift as well. There's also no Blake Lively. We also thought those people were going to show up. They did not. Instead, we get 4 cameos that kind of resonate the themes of this movie, the themes of being forgotten. First things first, Jennifer Gardner as Elektra. Remember that terrible Elektra movie from 2005? No? Me neither. But that's the point. She's a forgotten character that never got to come back and have her moment. So she's here, and nobody in my audience clapped. And then Wesley Snipes shows up as Blade, and I was the only person in the audience that audibly clapped and cheered for that. It was my favorite moment of the film. That was great. I love Blade. And he makes a great joke that he's the one and only Blade and it's gonna stay that way. And Deadpool winks at the camera because we know that Mahershala Ali movie might never happen. It should, but how has that movie not happened yet? That's like that seems like such an easy movie to make. Then you get Channing Tatum as Gambit, and that is so funny. I mean, there were so many years that this movie was, like, about to go into production. It's actually incredible that we never got the Channing Tatum Gambit movie, but we get to be, like, a little glimpse of what that film or what that character would have looked like. And I'm okay with the fact that we didn't get that movie. I'm alright with it. I don't think we need to see that. But it was fun to see him in this movie, and he was fun. And of course, you get Daphne Keane back as X-23, my least favorite cameo of the movie for 2 reasons. A, because they spoiled it in the trailers, and 2, I don't really think we needed it. I think her character and Logan had a perfect ending in Logan. I didn't think we needed to have a moment with her in this version of Logan. And this version of Logan, you're asking? Yes, because this is a different version of Wolverine. He is not the Wolverine from the Foxverse. He is a different alternate Wolverine that kind of went crazy and let down his universe and everybody died, and it's a long story. But he now has to learn how to be a hero. He's been kind of this forgotten guy that needs to learn to be the big, strong Wolverine that Logan was. Even though Logan went through a lot of shit to become that hero. Like, I don't know, thematically it didn't all make sense for me. I really love a lot of the bromance stuff between Wolverine and Deadpool. Of course, they don't get along for 90% of this movie, but when they finally do in that last scene, jamming out to Madonna and they save the universe, that is a great moment. Probably the best part of the entire film, and that is kind of what we came to see Deadpool and Wolverine for. Did I need 20 minutes of them fighting? Fights that have no stakes or suspense to them because they can't die? No, I did not need those. I don't think all of the Wolverine-Deadpool fighting in this film made sense or worked. And that's just me, maybe. I also think it would have been better if they could have brought the Wolverine that we did know. I mean, I like this version of Wolverine. He is essentially the same exact character in all but a few backstory things, but I feel like there would have been more of a connection and less having to explain things about the character if they simply said, well, we went back in time and we grabbed the Wolverine from our universe. And by the way, I probably shouldn't dig into the Fox timeline here because it really doesn't matter, but In Deadpool's universe, Wolverine has died. Logan has happened. Meaning they live in a world where mutants are, like, on the run and not exactly welcomed by humanity. Hence the, you know, Logan, the world in Logan. It is kind of a fucked up world. But clearly, from Deadpool's point of view, the world is normal, and he's a mutant, and nobody's really after him. So that doesn't make any sense. I know that's a continuity thing that they just said, who cares? Don't think too hard about it. So I'll try not to think too hard about it, but it's hard not to think too hard about that. Also, X-23, is that an alternate X-23? Or the X-23 from our universe, who's now back in our universe, living with the alternate Wolverine, meaning that Logan's death in Logan didn't really mean that much, because she would eventually get to live with her dad in the future in America, even though they went through all that effort to get her to Canada, because America hates mutants. Fuck this movie. What the hell? It doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of stupid. The after credit scene was also kind of disappointing. I mean, you get to see more Chris Evans, and he's really fun as Johnny Storm, but I was expecting some other kind of connection to the MCU. The only real connection we get to the MCU is at some point in the future, he's going to be held by Thor, and Thor's gonna be crying. So we know he's gonna be in Secret Wars doing something with that. We also get Happy Hogan in the beginning. We don't really get an explanation of how Deadpool ended up in the MCU for like this one moment. There was a hard tease in this scene that Robert Downey Jr. was gonna show up, and the whole time I'm thinking, no. I wanna see it, but no, not here, right? And luckily he does it, but it was nice to see Jon Favreau. That was great. I love Jon Favreau. But this movie really doesn't connect all that much to the MCU other than the TVA. There are no, like, big MCU characters that jump in here, other big heroes, so kind of that whole expectation of this is Deadpool playing in the MCU sandbox. It's not. It's kind of Deadpool playing in the Fox universe sandbox, which is also kind of cool, and a movie that we could have kind of gotten under 20th Century Fox. Unfortunately, you know, they went away, so Disney made the movie. So now we gotta sit here and think, well, I guess Deadpool 4, which might be, I don't know, Deadpool and Spider-Man? I don't know. Or Avengers Secret Wars or Avengers 5, whatever the hell it's going to be called, might bring Deadpool into the fold and be Deadpool in the Marvel sandbox, which is kind of what I wanted to see out of Deadpool 3, and I don't think I got. I instead got a goodbye to the Fox universe, which is what this movie is, especially in the credits. You could see that this is a goodbye to Fox. Goodbye, Foxverse. Even though I'm sure all of these characters, plus a lot of characters that didn't show up in this movie, are likely going to show up in the MCU at some point. It's just obvious that if they weren't showing up here, it's because they're being saved for something else. And that has never been more obvious than after seeing this movie. But that's just my spoiler thoughts. If you want to know my, like, review thoughts, go check out my video from yesterday. But this is just kind of off the base. Just wanted to talk about the spoilery stuff in this film. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. What are your predictions of what's coming next for Deadpool and Wolverine? We didn't get, like, a little thing at the end of the movie that says Deadpool will return or Wolverine will return. So they're leaving us in suspense, but they're both gonna be back. I mean, come on. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next one.